Hey guys, I haven't made any videos yet on Void Rift Stage 2. There is a second Stage 2 now. And this video I want to go over the final boss on hard mode, but I'm nowhere near strong enough for Nightmare just yet. So I'm going to have to use pretty good heroes. So this isn't like a full breakdown video to show you a really easy way of doing it. This is just showing you how I'm doing it. And hopefully they can help inform you with your placements and decision making. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to show you how I beat it. My bonus this week in Void Rift is Marksman class of 20% damage increase, which is not really what I wanted, but it's not too bad. So I'm taking advantage of Setram for the purpose of that. And besides Setram, I am using obviously a full team of nukers. You can see there's a bunch of legendaries in here. Salazar, Karmet, Vierna, King Haas. Truthfully, King Haas was not super needed really. I could have used almost any other defender. It would be fine. As for Vierna and Karmet, again, I just need some good magic damage, so other mages would do fine. An A5 Iona would do pretty good, I think. But that's obviously going to come down to your gear. The way I'm running this is a nuke-heavy team. That's why I have Dolores in play. And yeah, you really need the damage output to make it worthwhile, otherwise it's not going to work. So we're going to break down the boss's mechanics, but first thing before we begin is applied to enemies in the combat conditions, the boss will regain 20% max HP when casting Crimson Star. So we'll jump into it, we'll go into the enemy details, and then I'll place everything and explain why I do it a certain way. But in monster details, you can see we have three enemies. We have these uncommon destroyers, the restorers, and the boss, the Crimson Star. So the uncommon destroyers are really heavy hitting, really slow, really physically tanky, and pretty high HP enemies. They have massive physical damage reduction. They walk faster after being attacked or being boosted by a patroller, which isn't in this map. And they do AoE ground smashes that do a lot of damage. So primarily they're not going to take damage from physical damage sources. They're going to be very tanky and they're going to do a massive amount of damage. You really have to block these guys as defenders or your hero will just die. Fighters will just die. Then we have a Restorer. These guys are just going to be spam healing the uncommon destroyers. It's very annoying. So the Restorer needs to be killed pretty quick. You can see they are more vulnerable to physical damage than magical damage, though their HP is not super high and their magic resistance isn't crazy high. So even though they are more resistant to magic damage, you can still kill them without too much trouble using magic damage types. And now the main crux of the run, the boss, Crimson Star. Massive HP, massive attack, kind of low physical resistance, fairly high magic resistance, and a number of abilities. So, Crimson Plague. Command all ground units to attack, dealing massive magic damage to the target and their adjacent heroes, so all the squares around you, and while also corrupting the tiles to deal continuous damage to heroes positioned on them. So this basically just ruins a number of tiles around your hero and on the hero, so it just wipes out a bunch of useful tiles for you. So this is really problematic. And we have Stellar Gaze, attacks only defenders, and then it deals damage twice to the target and to adjacent targets in horizontal and vertical lines. And finally we have Abyssal Torrent, deals massive magic damage to all heroes within 2 tiles. So that's it. The main breakdown is these guys are tanky, hit really hard. These guys heal the tanky guys. This boss enemy does damage around him, which is kind of annoying, but not prohibitively damaging, at least on hard mode. Stellar Gaze deals damage, but it's like a plus shape on the hero, so as long as you're not directly adjacent to it either on the vertical or horizontal axis, you'll be okay. And Crimson Plague is really problematic because it is a massive amount of damage and it just ruins a number of tiles. So this is the main thing we want to be avoiding, and that's kind of the main reason I run this in a certain way. So let me show you exactly how I do this. I have King Haas up top to block. Again, it could be any other defender really. I'm just using him because I have him and I enjoy the extra stats. And then after that, I have my Vortex covering him obviously healing himself, covering this tile here, which is going to be where my Vierna goes. It doesn't really need to be Vierna, but it does help because it means that Vierna can ult to kill these guys at the top, which I do really, really like. So there we go, we can ult here. Then I'll place my Dolores down here. I didn't place her here so she could heal or buff Vortex. She can be healed by Vortex, so that is actually quite nice. You can see King Haas getting a big slap of damage on him, which is a bit of a problem. But the reason for Dolores here is so she can ult and cover the Salazar down here. The boss's path is, let me just slow it down. The boss's path is spawning from here, moving around, like you can see it right there, that's convenient, and snaking into the portal. So that's where the boss is going to be going. So now I'll place down my Setram. Let's just ult because I really don't want King Haas to die here. So yes, that is pretty much the plan for the run. With my current gear, it's pretty good on certain heroes. Karmet is in pretty good gear. Salazar is in decent gear. Dolores is not too bad. Setram is in reasonable gear. I'll show the gear at the end of the video so you can see it is decent gear for sure. This is very hard content. So maybe in future I'll do a more free-to-play friendly team, run more realistic for other players, but this is very hard content, so you can only get away with so much. So now we're going to ult with Dolores, ult with Setram. We have the bleed up on the boss, so we're going to ult now with Salazar, and now it's a DPS race. I really want to kill this boss before he gets his damage off that kind of wipes out a bunch of tiles. Ideally I would have liked to have waited for Carmet to be ready, but it just wasn't going to be the case. Salazar's self-healing plus Dolores' really mediocre healing is enough to keep him going for a little bit. I can ult with Vienna at top just to wipe out this healer. I should have waited once for the other one. But now you can see the boss is down to 15% HP. Salazar is getting pounded by these little ground tile attacks, which is annoying. But he's just about hanging in there. The boss is dropping quite low. So is King Haas. And there we have it. The boss goes down. So now I can despawn everyone here. I can drop my Olag up on the right side because the rest of the run to worry about is after we finish up here, there'll be basically these pairings again. One of the golems plus one of the restorers are going to move through here and down into Olag. I don't have a spare healer in this team to help out with Olag, so I'm going to have to shuffle things around to help him out. But for now, we're just going to kill this guy off. So yeah, obviously this only works if you have the damage output and you have the heroes able to nuke and kill the boss at the bottom fast enough. This is not meant to be a guide to help everyone out with it. I'm not quite ready for that yet. I need to spend a little bit more time figuring that all out, but I will do it eventually. This is mainly just to show you how I'm doing it, and maybe you can learn something from it. Hopefully it helps a bit. Now we're at this point where there's 7 enemies remaining. I believe, unless I make a mistake here, we can just despawn this entire side here. And I do actually like to have Salazar up here facing up, which I was a little bit late on. The reason is it just makes it easier killing the little restorers, because now we need to deal with this guy. But the restorer kind of catches on this corner a lot, and Salazar can just beat him up, so I get some good bonus use out of that. And because we despawn the left side, it won't be long before we can get Vienna up and get our Vortex back, and then there's not going to be any risk whatsoever. So from here, it's plain sailing, really. There's just 2 more pairs to go, and we're done with the run. So yeah, this is pretty easy. It's pretty much done. So I'm going to vanish from the video, and I'll just let it play out, and you can see how it's handled. Well, that didn't take very long. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the run. As you can see, a massive amount of damage from Salazar. Well, pretty much everyone did a really good job. Out of all the DPS, they've all really pulled their weight. So I didn't really need Carmet, honestly. I could have taken someone a bit more suitable for the boss, more physical damage. So I think you can get away with just having a single magic damage dealer for the top. Ideally, someone with AoE burst damage like Vienna. Splashes from Carmet would be perfect as well. A number of heroes would function quite well on that. The main thing was using Dolores with 3 nuke heroes to really annihilate the boss as fast as possible so that I don't have to deal with the ground tiles being deleted. My previous attempts, I had trouble with that in the first attempt because as soon as those tiles are gone, it kills everyone and you lose tiles to place heroes. It becomes incredibly problematic for the run. So I would advise strongly trying to find a way to burst the boss down. Obviously, that's not going to be super easy, but that seems to be the cleanest strategy if you do have the damage output to do that. Of course, Dolores is going to be incredibly key for doing that. So yeah, good luck with that. If you don't have a Dolores, then that's going to be quite tough and you'll have to figure out other strategies. I will make more videos on this in future. I'll probably do a Nightmare team eventually when I finally sort my gear out. But yeah, hopefully it gives you an idea and maybe it's beneficial to some people out there. But again, it's not a full-fledged guide yet. I will work on that in future and try to figure out another way of doing it that may be a bit more accessible, because obviously using Salazar and Setram is kind of a steep requirement. But I'm sure there are other teams using slightly less heavy hero lineups that do work. So anyway, that's it for the video, guys. I hope it helps some of you. Do leave a comment if you have any other tips and tricks for this stage, because I didn't actually do Void Rift last week. I just was too busy and didn't have time to sit down and go for it. So yeah, please do leave comments sharing your tips and tricks. It will help myself as well as many other people, because I know a lot of people do lurk in the comments section. So thanks in advance for all of your help. Anyway, have a great one, guys. Take care and bye-bye.